Hi, this is NorbReviews. Today we're looking at the Sony WH-1000XM4 wireless active noise cancelling headphones. There's a lot of buzz about these because of the noise cancelling capabilities in this and the battery life. So is there more to it than that? Here's a short of it. These are well-designed headphones with industry-leading noise cancellation, an enjoyable user interface, and a mature, well-thought-out interaction design. But they do fall short in a lot of key areas, such as the build choices and the out-of-the-box sound quality. The sound can be made better with the solid EQ options that are available, but the build quality leaves them feeling somewhat fragile, and that makes me wonder about their longevity. Pros: great active noise canceling, marvelous interaction design, light and perfect for travel, comfortable for people wearing glasses. Cons: construction material choices make them feel fragile, sound quality is muddy, especially without tweaking the EQ, and not sweat-proof. Stay tuned for the full review, or if you're busy, check out my quick review for busy people. Links down below. Also, if you'd like to see more of these videos, remember to hit subscribe. All right, some disclosures before we move on. 1, I purchased this unit for review myself. In fact, I have 2 of them, which I purchased myself. I have no sponsors and no one is paying me for this review. Okay, so what comes included with the package? First, the case, the headphones, USB-A to USB-C audio cable, 2.5mm to 3.5mm cable, and airplane adapter. So let's talk about the case. It's a hard shell all around. It will be secure and safe in your bag when traveling. It is compact and light. It does have a nice pocket on the outside, although I do wish this pocket was maybe on this side, because oftentimes I find myself opening it with this side and all the stuff falls out. Inside, they use the space smartly. It does include also a diagram to show you how to use the touch controls on the actual headset. When I first saw these in the store, I wasn't very impressed, frankly. The more I look at them, however, the more I handle them, the more I see what great design choices Sony made with these. Color and texture wise, you'll see that the leatherette portions and the plastic portions have exactly the same color. So you can't tell the difference between them, and I absolutely adore that. Now they do come in 2 colors, black and silver. This is not silver, you can tell. It's more like a gray taupe. So let's talk about build quality. These are very plastic, but they feel like a high quality plastic with a great texture touch. The matte finish, it feels just like it looks. Honestly, it feels great. The leatherette for the cushions and the headbands is soft to the touch and very smooth. As you can see, no ruffles on the side, which I think that adds a classier touch. I don't like the ruffles on the side myself. They do come in at 249 grams or 8.8 ounces. Overall, these are decently constructed, but they feel a bit fragile, especially when compared to others at this price point. Now, the hinges, they do feel okay. They're not wobbly, and every part that moves feels purposeful in the function and in the range. The headband slider is a clicker. Because of that, I do worry about longevity. Both of our review units had the same issue where this became a little bit loose, kind of quick. So we would be holding them and they would open up. The slide covers here are replaceable, but the only options that I found were about $50 and you have to do the install yourself. Honestly, I expected a little more. Ports and buttons. USB-C charging port, adapter, power button, and pairing button. Also, doing a quick press will tell you how much battery you have left. The custom button adjusts the noise cancellation level, but you can use the app to change this so that it calls up either Alexa or Google Assistant instead. Sorry, iPhone users, no Siri. The buttons do feel good and sturdy. They're made of the same material as the rest of the headphone and they don't wobble. Other than these buttons, all of the controls are touch controls, though you can turn that off using the app. When it comes to comfort, in short, I was pleasantly surprised with these. Kind of shocked actually at how comfortable these were. The headband is sturdy, although it creaks a little bit when stressed. I'm not trying to break it, but it does make me feel that these are a little more fragile than I'd like. The padding is excellent, however. It feels soft and it is very comfortable, even through long usage. I would avoid using these outside if you live somewhere hot. The ears do tend to get hot and these are not sweat-proof. They do fit bigger heads comfortably, so I am very happy about that. When you stretch them out all the way, honestly, I have a big head and these fit my big head just fine. So thumbs up there. Moving on to the cushions. I fully expected these to be entirely uncomfortable. I did experience some ear fatigue with these, more than say the Sennheiser Momentum 3s. Despite this, however, they were extremely comfortable to wear for longer periods because of the foam cushions being so ridiculously soft. With this in mind, the clamping force, however, is just enough to keep the headphones up, but still keep the headphones safely on your head comfortably. So for us with glasses, these are excellent. Despite the ear pads being all over my ears and the arms of my glasses just being shoved in there, these are still comfortable after extended usage, and the bass response didn't seem to be significantly impacted by this. If you wear glasses all the time and want headphones you can wear for a long time comfortably, definitely take a look at these. These can be paired with multiple devices. You can see which devices you're paired with using the app. 2 of these devices can be active at the same time, and this worked really well on my test. There was no issue that I encountered. Okay, moving on to sound quality, because let's face it, if you're getting headphones, that's one of the important things. First, the tech. These support SBC, AAC, and LDAC. LDAC is a codec developed by Sony for high resolution. If you're looking for aptX or aptX HD, those are 2 things that Android users tend to really like. Take a look at the previous version, the WH-1000XM4 III. I don't know why Sony decided to reduce the number of codecs. I guess they wanted to push their LDAC standard, but if that's important to you, then take this under advisement. Now, as for the sound itself, how do I say this? Not necessarily this headphone's strongest suit. It's not bad. It's not good either. It's $350 is overpaying for the sound that you get on these, at least out of the box. The thing is that the sound is muddy. I know, I get it. Sound preferences are subjective, but this is not. The bass overpowers the mids, and the sound that comes out is muddy. It just slops all over them. There is good stereo separation, and there's a feature here that does 360-degree audio with specific apps like Tidal and Deezer. Here's the thing. On their own, the sound on these headphones isn't impressive, but then Sony goes and softwares the hell out of this thing. It uses AI, uses ambient analysis, uses their digital sound enhancement engine, that's DSEE Extreme, which brings up the digital music to sound like CD quality. And son of a gun, these sound pretty decent, and I'm really enjoying these. The EQ options are where you can really make these headphones shine. The default mode is weak, it's unenjoyable, and I honestly just did not like it. With the EQ, however, I was able to correct a lot of that. I even found some settings online that got these pretty close to the Harman curve, which made these sound very nice. There are some EQ defaults, and most of them I just wasn't impressed with. You can remake them in any way you want because you can't edit them, but you know, if you don't like them, just change them. The EQ here is pretty flexible. Moving on to call quality, it was all right. That's what I'm going to say. Don't use these for teleconferencing calls unless you don't have a pair of proper speakers or a pair of proper, like a microphone or something. Just don't use these. You're gonna sound very digitized. You're gonna sound tinny. It's not all that great. Use this for phone calls, but again, you'll sound digitized. Now, where these do a very good job is in blocking outside noise from calls and isolating your voice. All right, let's talk about the noise canceling. That's kind of the big show on these, and in a word, it's excellent. It blocks out a lot of the steady low-level noises. It does a good job of muting the world around me, and there are a fair number of settings and tools to manage that, but we'll get into that in a second. If I was going to be in a plane for a while, or a train, or even in a cafe, these are the headphones that I would want on my head. All right, let's go ahead and test out the active noise canceling. However, too much of a good thing isn't always better. The cabin pressure effect on these is pretty stark. This is a problem because no matter what you set it at, as soon as you turn on the headphones, the noise canceling is turned up to full. So if you're sensitive to the cabin pressure effect, that will bother you every single time. Now you can set transparency level on a sliding scale using the app once it's on. Then there's also the anti-wind mode, and then there's full noise canceling. To turn on transparency mode temporarily, there's a pretty cool feature. You just put your hand in the right ear cup. That either lowers the volume or stops your music depending on your settings, and it turns on transparency mode. It looks weird, but it works well. As soon as you take your hands off, your music starts up again. There is also a setting that lets you turn on transparency mode, but only really for voices. So it just focuses on that. Here's the problem with that. It didn't work all that well. I actually heard voices better by turning that setting off. So, and you can only really turn that setting on when you have anything other than either the anti-wind or max settings. They have to have some kind of transparency mode on. Frankly, I like the implementation of similar features in other sets better than this one. You can also set these so that when you start talking, the music pauses and transparency mode is turned on so you can hear yourself and whoever you're talking to. This is nice, but I tend to talk to myself a lot. So my internal monologue is usually not all that internal, which means that I ended up having to turn it off because, well, that's just a me thing. Sony advertises 30 hours with streaming and active noise cancellation, 38 hours with streaming and active noise cancellation off, and up to 200 hours in waiting time. It charges up to 100% in 3 hours, or 10 minutes alone gives you 5 hours. So a 10-minute quick charge, you can listen for 5 hours. The problem is that, of course, you can't listen while charging. It's either one or the other. So if you're going to charge these all the way, you're probably going to want to do it overnight. But yeah, battery life here is excellent, and it's effectively better than advertised. The software is another strong feature for this headset. It's powerful, and it really lets you take charge of the experience. It's a little complex, but that's owing to how much control it gives you. You have 3 tabs. The first one is a status tab, and that shows you your adaptive mode, the devices you're currently connected to, and what you're playing. Then you move on to the sound controls, which controls your active noise canceling. There we go, active noise canceling, noise canceling optimizer, the equalizer, the 360 reality setup. There's also the DSEE Extreme. Again, I talked about that, and basically that's just moving your quality, your music quality over to CD quality. Finally, there's a setting you can connect to 2 devices or 1 device at a time. You can change the function of the custom button. As I said, you can go ahead and do ambient sound control, or you can do Google Assistant or Alexa. The folks doing this just scienced the heck out of this. They just softwared the heck out of these to take what could have been just a mediocre experience, an overpriced, bloated experience, and turned it into something that, it's pretty cool. So here are my takeaways. There's a reason these are so popular. I note on my review scores, I go from 1 to 10. 1 is a complete disappointment. 10 is perfect and delightful. And 5 is it's doing its job as I'd expect, but nothing special stands out. Let's start with looks. Despite being all plastic, they look professional, understated, and classy. They somehow meld the leatherette and plastic to look indistinguishable from each other without sacrificing functionality and feel, and that was just marvelous. The build itself, however, 3 out of 10. They cheaped out on some of the materials, and it feels fragile for that reason. The parts are designed well, but I'm always afraid I'm going to break them. The case itself, 8 out of 10. This is what cases should be, almost. I wish it was a little harder material, but light and sturdy, these are perfect for travel. Comfort, 8 out of 10. Soft ear pads and the headband, and just great for people with glasses. The only issue I had with them was ear heat and some ear size issues, but honestly, I didn't even care about those because they were so comfortable. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Sound quality. This was a hard one. By default, it's not good. Sony tries to match the setting that I guess most people would go for, which is, high in the lows and in the highs, depressed in the mids, but that just comes off as sounding muddy. Still, with some EQ work, these can end up sounding very, very nice. And yeah, if you like bass, you'll like these. Features, 9 out of 10. Sony just packed feature after feature after feature into these things. And it's one thing to pack them. It's another matter entirely to weave them into a cohesively designed overall user experience. Active noise canceling, 8 out of 10. The noise canceling itself is great, but some of the features around it just aren't quite as good as the rest of the system sets you up to expect. The software, 8 out of 10. The capabilities are all there, and I don't know that they could have done a better job of organization given all the features, but some of the UI elements felt like they didn't follow some of the basic UI design rules. Like, is this too small for my finger to point to? Is it evidently a link? I'm not sure. Battery life, 9 out of 10. Between the long life, the battery saving features, and the incredible standby time, this thing is a battery beast. Value for the dollar, 5 out of 10. This is a solid tech package that delivers decent quality value overall, right in line with what I'd expect at this price range. I have to give it overall points for design though. Not the looks, which I've already mentioned, but the entire interaction design and overall user experience around the product. Overall, the score on these is a 7 out of 10, which is excellent. The fact is that there are a lot of options near this price, and if you're trying to find the best for you, you'll want to at least know that they exist. For travel friendly at around the same price, there's the Bose Noise Cancelling 700, the Sennheiser PXC 550 Mark II, and the Shure Aonic 50. For a similar sound at a lower price, check out the WH-1000X Mark III. That's the previous version of this, and frankly, in a couple of minor ways, it might actually be a better choice. You can also do the Sony WH-XB900N, the WH-CH710N, the Bose Quiet Comfort 35 Mark II, and the Sennheiser HD 4.50 BTNC. There's a slew of these. You have alternatives galore. There are product links to all of these in the description. Should you buy these? I feel comfortable recommending these, especially if you want a travel-friendly headphone with great battery life and the best-in-class sound blocking. Or heck, honestly, if you just want wireless headphones to be around the house with, listening to movies while washing the dishes or something, these are light, comfortable, and feature-rich enough to live comfortably with. However, if those things don't matter as much to you and you're more interested in getting a specific sound quality, something with better separation and maybe something with a brighter tone out of the box, where you maybe don't have to mess around with the EQ, then maybe don't get these. They retail for $350, but you can find them for as low as $250. And at that price, these are a great value for the money. Would I buy these for myself? Yeah, actually I would. I maybe wouldn't pay $350 because of the sound and build issues, but if I had paid that, I wouldn't feel bad at all. I'd still be totally happy with them. Now mind you, I got these for under $275. For that price, you'd be hard pressed to find anything better. And frankly, if I wanted something that was just as good and cheaper, I'd just go for the XM3s. Thank you for watching my full review of the Sony WH-1000X Mark IV. For more reviews like these, please check out the channel. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to see more. This is NorbReviews, and until next time.